4878.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Here's what's happening on the roads. The outbound Kennedy is just under an hour from the Jane Byrne interchange out to the airport with tie-ups in the express Ogden to Costner. Eisenhower still holding it 1 hour, post office to 390, and the Stevenson an hour as well to get out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan out 35, downtown to 95th, express sluggish Pershing to Marquette. You will see delays both directions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as well as the Tri-State. The Jane Addams is clear both directions, eastbound Reagan, slowing down into the Tri-State. So far, so good along 355. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. However, a strong thunderstorm is likely to develop late in the afternoon. These thunderstorms may produce hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Nithya Raman. Nithya Raman. Money well spent. She's a crafty little socialist. You see, she's also the founder of NGOs. She's not only linked through political corruption and contributions, she is the founder of SELA Neighborhood Homeless Coalition. SELA Neighborhood Homeless Coalition, along with the photographed St. Joseph Center in Venice, where she is photographed giving a big giant check of $600,000. This is why we all know her name now. You see, this is out in the open, and nobody gives a rip because you expect this. Subconsciously, you expect this from Democrat sloth, theft, corrupt, bankrupt areas. You know it's true. And their policies need these elections to be stolen. And the best example of it is the Nazi in Maine. By the way, the Nazi, his grandfather was an architect who created chairs. And the chairs he created, they're still made today. And you could buy one for about $10,500. See, he's a trust fund baby, but he's self-loathing. Like all those Oak Park trust fund babies, all those North Shore trust fund babies, they couldn't live up to their grandfather's or their father's expectations. So they pretend to be socialist. Now, Graham Plattner takes it to a new level and admits all socialists are really Nazis in drag. And he's going to tell you why elections will always be stolen when Democrats can steal them, because they are stealing money through the promises of utopia that never quite make it.
If we're going to deal with these things, we need to understand that the changes need to be structural. We need to return to the politics of dreaming big. Because the challenges we face today, we can no longer afford to play around in the margins. We've been doing that. and it has failed us. We need universal health care in this country.
Universal health care. But, Nazi. Hey, Nazi commander, SS troop, whatever the frack you want to pretend you are, you Nazi pig. I don't want to pay for your health care. I don't want to pay for Nazis. I don't want to pay for Marxists. I don't want to pay for cuckold communists. But above all, I do not want to pay for low-life drug addict waste of lives who not only are a drain on society, but are essential in the theft of our elections. That's right, you Nazi pig. It's all connected. They must steal the elections because they're running this utopian health care for everybody right here with your health care. I can't wait to get rid of you people.
Fraudulent petitioners on Skid Row are now paying the homeless to forge names, forge addresses, and forge signatures of registered voters.
So do you want to...
Now, do I have to pay the health care, the teeth, and all of this? See, because California's bankrupt. Doesn't have any fracking money. It lives on subsidies, just like Maine, just like Illinois, just like every Democrat-led hellhole. And yes, we'll talk about Carmelo Anthony. You know, Carmelo, if you wanted to get away with murder, you should have done it in a Democrat-run county and a Democrat-run state. So luckily for us, he didn't do that, and he was found guilty. And I'll get to it all, but this is the broader point, because these stories are meant to distract you from the idea Barack Obama was going to deliver utopia and health care. How does it really work? It works where the stealing is so bad, the homeless degenerates have their own representation, like in California. The Skid Row mayor of crack cocaine and degenerate bums. He's the mayor of Skid Row, and his name is Ken Call.
I actually had a meeting with her the day she got elected, when she told us that she would turn this city around and she began to work with the homeless. I asked her, what are we going to do about this crisis? We got the Olympics coming here. We got the World Cup coming here. Yeah. All your citizens, as you know
What was her answer?
Well, I'm working on it. But how long can you work on it?
Do you think this will ever go away? You know, Skid Row, the homeless encampments here?
I tell you what, they can clean it up to a certain point. I don't care what they do. There's going to be some stragglers along. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, both of these homeless degenerates are more qualified than these two idiots, Bass and Rahman. No question about it. After all, they got their finger on the real pulse. And they were the recipients of the government money. Well, maybe that's why they just go along to get along and steal elections.
But it ain't going to be like this, though. You know, it'll be a lot better. Yeah. And then on top of that, man, I'm going to just tell you the truth. Some get comfortable down here, knowing they can get something to eat and don't have to work and all that. Yeah,
that working, that being productive, that not being a drug addict pig defecating in the street, that's tough. And all you have to do from time to time is support a Nazi, and he'll deliver all of your needs. You know, you sound like you need some jibs. You got any teeth in your head at all that you haven't crack smoked out of them?
I ain't with you.
Before our interview, he asked Greta if he could have a smoke, and I thought he was talking about a cigarette that he was rolling, but instead, when I said, yeah, he loaded his pipe with rock cocaine, with crack cocaine, and smoked. A really sad, disturbing reminder
of exactly who is stealing your fracking money and who your insurance premiums are being raised for. This is the problem in their little utopia. You, the decent person, is the one that pays the tab. You, the decent person, is the one that can't get the proper health care. You, the decent person, is always going to bail out the scum roach. But in America, you're not supposed to deal with this. Do you know why, Megamind? Because socialism in America is unconstitutional. So the only way it can exist is from absolute and total fraud.
By about 3,000 votes into that critical second place spot. If Rahman holds on to her lead, she'll advance to the runoff election against Mayor Karen Bass in the fall. Now, before the ballot dump yesterday, Spencer Pratt posted in part, writing, "We've got all the way till July 6th to keep counting. They're not the only ones who know where to find votes."
Now that's the problem. Right there. This is what I mean, Megamind, when I say it's easy to adapt to that low living. I mean, look at you in Chicago. Chaos in the fracking streets. Businesses are gone. Companies are gone. Real estate selling. The buildings in the loop, 80%, 90%. You're going to be like Spencer Pratt? We can get low, too. See, in a civilized world, you're not supposed to live low.
Chicago police are investigating 3 armed robberies at fast food restaurants this morning.
And it's not clear if they're all connected yet, but they didn't walk in the front door. Our Lauren Victory is live at...
They're all perpetrated by Chicago public school students who the society is paying $33,000 a year to pretend that these idiots are worth something. They're worth less. They're worth what the crack smoker is in L.A. This is the broader point. And the only way it can exist is through constant fraud and cheating and stealing. Not just money, elections.
Trump's praise of you today was obviously glowing. You and I talked the other day, and, you're happy to have that support, I know, and, you see yourself as wanting to work with the president. Chad Bianco, though, is another Republican candidate for governor. So I've been looking at his numbers. He's obviously at the bottom. It is obviously seems impossible at this point that he would be a contender. But he said this yesterday.
There is no world imaginable where Steve Hilton wins in the November election, not only because he's a Fox News host, but because he's endorsed by the president.
That got me thinking. The president who won 72% of the counties in Los Angeles, in California, 72% of the counties, Donald Trump won in California. But they always have the break the glass moment that Gavin Newsom confessed to more than several months ago. And it's a fascinating statement to recall when you think about who this crooked bastard is. See, his wife, too, is the recipient of NGOs. His wife has made $5 million from being linked to NGOs in the same way Rahman is. And they know how to protect it. You just have to steal a handful of the most populated counties with the crackheads and the degenerate welfare roaches.
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot. Look, I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. And there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out. And we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll leave it at that.
And by everything, he meant steal elections as they have been doing for decades. It's a funny thing when this dirty whore who was caught stealing elections pled guilty right before the special election to kind of get things out of the way. She had held this position for 2 decades. For 20 years, this dirty pig Democrat whore helped facilitate the theft of elections in Los Angeles.
A Los Angeles County woman has agreed to plead guilty to paying people on Skid Row to register to vote. Federal officials announcing the charge against Brenda Lee Brown Armstrong this week, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. The National News Desk Jeff Harris joining us. And according to her plea agreement, we do know Brown Armstrong allegedly worked as a petition circulator for nearly 2 decades. There is striking social media video. What else is coming to light?
So in that plea agreement, Brown Armstrong admitting to working as a paid petition circulator, allegedly targeting the homeless while gathering signatures throughout the Los Angeles area. The bombshell.
And when you listen to the O'Keefe Media Group expose, and you see how comfortable these degenerate, drug addict pigs, useless forms of humanity are in stealing votes, they're stealing identities. And it's all for what the Nazi in Maine promised. Universal health care and welfare, and making these scumbags stay above ground.
Okay. The first name.
I'm Joseph Albright. Okay.
First name.
Joseph Albright.
Now she's a woman, Megamind. A woman. Just giving fake ID to one of the few degenerates that can write and fill out a form. Although in California, you could pretty much put it on the back of a receipt and a crayon, and these sick bastards will take it.
What are you using? Teresa.
No, I'm going to give you your address to write.
Oh, okay.
Directions?
Okay, yeah.
Quickly becoming a widespread scheme that can be found on almost every street corner in downtown Los Angeles.
It's stolen. Let it go. They like it this way. Break the glass. Gavin Newsom said that before the special election. They have known, as you have known, in Shirakistan, there is no legitimacy in any form of a Democrat government anywhere. This is how they operate. And the reason is for what the Nazi promised, this fraud utopia of everybody gets everything and only a few have to work. It's the same story. And the reason is when it really is passed, like Obamacare, there are so many different ways to steal. Even cartel members who have been put out of work because of Trump sealing the border and breaking up cartels, they're making a fortune in this Obama ghetto care bulldog.
All new tonight, Hawaii health providers and state officials are warning that so-called body brokers from California may be targeting homeless drug addicts in Hawaii.
The fear is that local addicts will be used as a lucrative source of insurance payments for rehab programs that do more harm than good. HNN Investigates' Daryl Huff has the story.
The alarm about possible body brokers was raised after Friday night when two women showed up here at Kauhali Health, passing out these business cards and making an offer that seemed too good to be true.
Lots of red flags for me.
Security cameras at the homeless health and housing facility recorded the women's visit. Project staff said they didn't hide their intentions.
She began to tell me that they're here from there to try to recruit people, anybody that was interested in rehabilitation.
So it sounds.
You think Minnesota's the only one stealing money in the name of Medicare and Medicaid and ghetto care? Universal health care. Universal health care. It's a giant fracking scam. And it's not just Cali. It's anywhere Democrats are.
A new state investigation finds that some rehab centers in New Jersey are exploiting patients who are in recovery for drug and alcohol abuse. The State Commission of Investigation says it can be more lucrative for rehab centers to keep patients in a cycle of addiction. News 12 New Jersey's.
And here we are working, living decent, not murdering people. Look at us. We're the suckers. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer. It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Hey Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. If you're helping a parent or loved one move into senior living, you're dealing with a lot right now. Finding the right location, coordinating the move, managing their care, and then there's the house, often filled with decades of belongings and memories. The last thing you need is months of repairs, showings, and uncertainty about when it will actually sell. Here's how our veteran-led team helps. We listen to your needs first. Flexible closing date? We can do that. Extra time to sort through everything at your own pace? That works too. You keep what matters, family photos, heirlooms, whatever has meaning, and we handle the rest. For nearly 20 years, we've earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by treating families with patience and respect during life's transitions. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
AM 560, The Answer.
In the real America, outside of these Democrat fiefdoms, the success of the Trump administration is amazing to watch. You don't hear it because you have the Mockingbird media, the Department of Agitation and Propaganda, these simpletons who are putting lipstick on the pig of socialized medicine, universal health care, Obamacare, without pointing out the hundreds of billions and billions and billions that are stolen on a regular basis. But Donald Trump knows it's a multi-front war, and here's the first front you must always conquer.
At 6, local officials say more long-term drug investigations are needed following a guilty plea in federal court from the leader of a Mexican organization that brought drugs into Horry County. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Adriana Lawrence. Yesterday, U.S. Attorney Brian Sterling announced Rafael Contreras pled guilty to conspiring to distribute controlled substances in South Carolina, including cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin.
Major cartel broke it up. Atlanta broke it up. Breaking it up all around the country outside of Democrat enclaves. But in California, the cartel's got a new scam. It's called rehab centers. And this time they get their money like Somalian pirates from fraud. Joe, Southwest Side.
Yeah, a long time ago, we had clean needle programs and crack pipe kits and all that stuff. They put that stuff out there. You think they were empty, or do you think they were going to let them sit there empty? I'm sure they were bringing in whatever they needed to fill the needles and fill the crack pipes to keep the cycle of addiction going and keeping the programs that they need filled with people on rehab.
Joe, for the last 10 years, really, when Obamacare really kicked in, the kind of money that's in on this scam quadrupled. You see, this is always the policy that creates the avenue to be stolen. And they do it because these cartel members, just like in their little enclaves, give big campaign kickbacks to both them and the very services like banking and the rest of it. It's a fascinating reality to see how every one of these policies was created to be stolen. Thank you very much for the call, Joe. In fact, I have the story that kind of went away as it was really under review under Trump's first administration. But when the dimwit in diapers got in, he kind of crushed the investigation into cartel money laundering through banks, and the banks knew it.
Did you know one of the world's biggest banks helped Mexican drug cartels launder $881 billion while executives literally joked about it? For over a decade, HSBC deliberately ignored every red flag in the book. Cartels were depositing millions in cash through boxes designed to fit perfectly through teller windows. The bank's own compliance officers warned that Mexican branches were processing more U.S. dollars than some small countries. But executives chose profits over people. Internal emails later revealed managers joking about their failures to stop money laundering. They knew this money was funding violence, kidnappings, and murders across Mexico. Yet they kept the cash flowing. When investigators finally exposed the scheme, the evidence was overwhelming. HSBC had enabled some of the most brutal criminal organizations on earth. The bank paid a $5 billion fine and promised to do better.
And that's the best part you're going to get when a Democrat's in charge. Cut me in or cut it out. And it always starts from the policies of utopia.
Because the challenges we face today, we can no longer afford to play around in the margins. We've been doing that, and it has failed us. We need universal health care in this country.
I'm not paying for anything for you fracking sloths. Just keep moving. George, Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, Skid Row Stragglers. That was your band in high school. I remember you guys covered Santana.
Yes, we did. Thank you very much. Boy, those chicks were easy back then. They still are, except now they're missing teeth. That's the way it rolls. Unless you're in L.A., and then you can put those drug addict wastes of life to use. And the next thing you know, somebody you never heard of is going to be the mayor. Why not? the policies always come from Mount High.
The House Oversight Committee this morning dropping a bombshell report on rampant fraud in Minnesota. They allege Democratic officials there knew about the problem earlier than they've admitted, but they failed to act.
No kidding! They were getting the kickbacks. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
Yes, we're going to protect this caller. In fact, we're going to call him Jose. That's not his name, but we're going to call him Jose. And he is not calling from where he says. In fact, he's going to be calling from Anchorage. We're going to take Jose from Anchorage, who has intimate knowledge about HSBC. But that'll be after news with Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. A thunderstorm could cross the area. I'm Mike Scott in our QC Kinetics newsroom. Primaries are being held in 4 states today: North Dakota, South Carolina, Nevada, and Maine. 1 man is dead, 3 other people are wounded in a shooting on Chicago's west side. Police say a 15-year-old and 3 men were on the sidewalk last night in the first block of North Lockwood Avenue when someone in a passing SUV shot them. Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott addressing questions about the Bears Stadium announcement during last night's Hammond City Council meeting. McDermott adding fuel to the fire. The Bears have made up their mind and also took shots at Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson for leaving Bears games early.
You'll never leave a game early.
I don't have to leave that one early. It's 10 minutes away from my house. So I want to keep in mind, too, there's hundreds of millions of dollars of infrastructure that's going to be done.
Cubs and Rockies tonight while the White Sox host the Braves. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including The Shaun Thompson Show. Go to 560theanswer.com/store. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Your next news is at 5, but up next, the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center and Jill Urchek.
Here is another look at the roads. Still wide open going outbound on the Edens, while the Kennedy downtown to O'Hare is 1 hour. The express lane stop and go Ohio to Keeler. Inbound Eisenhower, an accident on the exit ramp to St. Charles, 1 off to the shoulder at Beesterfield. It's an hour inbound, back out an hour and 5. On the Stevenson, 38 minutes to the Tri-State, 50 out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Dan Ryan, 30 minutes, heavy into 95th from an earlier accident. The express lane stop and go Pershing to Marquette. Heavy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State scattered delays both directions, but good news on the Jane Addams. That is trouble-free. Eastbound Reagan, sluggish 83 into the Tri-State. And we're seeing tie-ups also northbound Route 53 from the Eisenhower to Kirchhoff. Also, 8094 westbound debris has been cleared at State Road 2. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm, and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. A strong thunderstorm is forecasted to develop late in the afternoon, potentially bringing hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. With smart business buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience paired with delivery options built for business. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling your firearms? Get top dollar from national collectors. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just to reset the table for Jose from Anchorage to understand, because we have tremendous amounts of people that listen to this show on the podcast. HSBC was well known for years and years and years as the preferred bank for cartel drug dealing low-life scum pigs, responsible for hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of American deaths. HSBC can never pay a fine. Only the customers can of HSBC. So when you hear this fine of $5 billion, understand they didn't pay a fracking cent.
Did you know one of the world's biggest banks helped Mexican drug cartels launder $881 billion while executives literally joked about it? For over a decade, HSBC deliberately ignored every red flag in the book. Cartels were depositing millions in cash through boxes designed to fit perfectly through teller windows. The bank's own compliance officers warned that Mexican branches were processing more U.S. dollars than some small countries. But executives chose profits over people. Internal emails later revealed managers joking about their failures to stop money laundering. They knew this money was funding violence, kidnappings, and murders across Mexico. Yet they kept the cash flowing. When investigators finally exposed the scheme, the evidence was overwhelming. HSBC had enabled some of the most brutal criminal organizations on earth. The bank paid a $5 billion fine and promised to do better. But here's the real crime. Not a single executive went to prison. 0. The Department of Justice decided HSBC was simply too big to prosecute, too important to the global economy to face real consequences. Some banks really are above the law.
Yes, not just the Vatican Bank. Jose, Anchorage. Oh, my thing is there. Would you do me a favor, Megamind, and click Jose? My system went down. Probably has nothing to do with the topic. Jose, how are you?
What's up, Shaun?
How are you, babe?
Let's just say if it weren't for the Patriot Act, they'd probably still get away with it. I was there for, let's call it, about 14 years. And I remember when the AML, that's anti-money laundering and all that stuff, got implemented.
Yes.
It wasn't just cartel. There was terrorist cells who were fond users of HSBC as well. And they used to funnel an ungodly, and I say ungodly because these are not God-fearing individuals. They used to buy an ungodly amount of lotion because of the triglycerine. The chemical ingredient triglycerine is used for making bombs. And I remember when it came down and the only thing we had to do is take like a 30-minute online course once a year, maybe 40 minutes if you were a slow reader. And all we did was identify the problem and then there was a couple of fines, and you won't, there was no admission of wrongdoing or anything like that, but there was one that was also like $500 million or almost about $425 million on top of that. Because remember, HSBC in the United States purchased Household and Beneficial Finance Corporation, which was a subprime lender, which made a boatload of money off of foreclosures and defaults.
Yep.
So it wasn't just sponsoring the.
Yep. You know this. When this institution is levied a fine, and let's say they're levied these kind of fines, just me from my own knowledge, no, they don't pay a nickel of it. It's always going to be an uptick in costs for somebody, a customer, somebody applying for a loan. They don't actually pay the bank. That's it. It's a pass-through. It's a vestibule. There is no HSBC. It's a vestibule of legal protection and legalized corruption. And a bank or any lender or any institution that relies or gets their money from government and subsidies or people who are shareholders, they can never pay a fine. They just pass it through to you. And people are satisfied 100%. When they get a fine like this. This is why that Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was a fraud. An absolute fraud. Nobody pays a fine. If nobody goes to jail, why would they ever stop it, Jose?
There's no reason to. To the executives, the slap on the wrist doesn't impact their golden parachutes, because if they end up losing their job or getting relocated to a different country, which that happened a lot, sometimes the North American CEO would become the global CEO overseeing the emerging markets. And I say that in air quotes because they were emergent for different reasons, right? They were trying to add credit card debt to other countries because they were making a ton of money off of fees. At the end of the day, unless somebody goes to jail, this stuff will never end.
And this is why, Jose, in 100 years from now, Donald Trump will go down as the greatest president, because what he has done in shutting the border, in declaring the cartels to be terrorist organizations, in blowing up the drug boats, what he has done has saved hundreds of thousands of American lives, but it exposed this kind of corruption that we became normalized to. And that's the real skinny. So when you heard Jeb Bush had worked for a bank in Venezuela in the 70s, were you shocked by that connection? Of course not, Jose. You stay warm up there in Anchorage, will you, brother? Thanks for the call. I really appreciate you taking the risk. Thank you very much. 312-642-5600. I'm having a problem with this computer there, Megamind, so we're going to work to shut this down and start it back up. But in the meantime, this is what I was talking about when it comes to what Donald Trump has done to the border and the way in which it had been opened up very strategically and very specifically from after he stole the election with help from just not nefarious players in our intelligence agencies, but from Venezuela drug-dealing scum, Mexican drug-dealing scum, and the drug-dealing scum right here in L.A., in New Jersey, in Illinois. They love it when a Democrat's in charge.
Enforcing our immigration laws in humane and effective ways that deters dangerous, irregular migration and disrupts traffickers.
Not just an opportunity, they're profiting off of this. They're profiting because they're charging these migrants to come across. Millions of dollars a week in revenue across each sector on the southwest border going directly into the hands of those cartels and those smugglers.
So not only were they making more money in the open-air drug acceptance of Democrat areas that call themselves sanctuary cities, they were making a fortune on the dope, they were making a fortune on the smuggle, and the banks were making a fortune because they were laundering it in the light of day.
Added to that, they're using this as a distraction to pull us off of task so they can cross other things like the narcotics.
Bingo! And it's always under Democrats. Even 30 years ago when it was the leader and the king of Mena, Arkansas, married to that fat broad, the Duchess of Chafington, with that big dimply ass.
We gave up complete and total operational control of the border, which means literally making decisions on who and what is coming in our country. We gave that to the cartels, and it was by policy decisions. So I had almost a 30-year career, started as a frontline agent, worked my way up. But I joined the Border Patrol, honestly, I really didn't even know about illegal immigration. When I joined the Border Patrol, all we talked about in Arizona at that point in time was narcotics smuggling across the border because that was the threat of the day. So all we talk about today, it seems like most of the time in the news anyways, is the illegal immigration aspect. And we lose the fact that the cartel just uses the illegal aliens to shape the border and bring in any threat that they want.
But now, Big Donnie's in charge. When he's not going to Knicks games, he's crushing cartels and drug dealers.
A Mexico-based drug trafficking operation which pumped fentanyl and heroin into Myrtle Beach has now been dismantled, and 4 men are heading to federal prison. Federico Pera Lopez ran the operation throughout 2023 and 2024. He's been sentenced to about 11 years behind bars on several charges.
Do you know what the cartels, Megamine, call 2023 and 2024 and 2022 and 2021? The good old days. Open the floodgates. And he did it intentionally. And he knew exactly and specifically what he was doing.
Mexican drug cartels have a problem. Billions of illicit dollars in cash sit trapped in American cities. Wealthy Chinese families, meanwhile, are often looking for ways to acquire dollars because China's strict currency controls mean they can't move their yuan abroad. But there's a new solution to both these problems: Chinese underground banking networks.
And you remember who the great partner to the Chinese drug dealers, the Chinese communists, and China in general, you remember who their greatest asset was, don't you, Mega?
Now, this Fox Business exclusive, Hunter Biden and a former Biden aide invested in 2 Chinese companies with ties to the top levels of the Chinese Communist Party and its military. Emails show that as recent as 2017, Hunter's private equity firm held a 5% stake in Harv's amusement parks and interest in Harv's sports and entertainment. Both are backed by China's development bank tied to the Chinese military. The emails
what did that crack-smoking, whoremongering, degenerate pig know about any of those industries? He knew less than he knew about Burisma. And where was the forever bothering Italians, FBI? Hey, morons! Where were you? You sat on the evidence! 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away. All through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Jenny McGuire is the fresh, bold, unapologetic voice of common sense, constitutional values, and conservative principles. With her sharp wit, she'll tackle the issues that matter most: faith, family, and freedom. Join her and featured guests each week on the Unsafe Space radio show, heard Saturday evening at 7 right here on AM 560 The Answer. And follow Jenny on Facebook at The Unsafe Space with Jenny McGuire.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Now that spring is here, it's time for some spring home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with Center Guard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. Center Guard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive spring special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
AM 560, The Answer.
So Glenn in Orlando wants to talk about this despicable example of how surprised we are as decent people when justice is upheld. I mean, that's how low things have gotten. We're really shocked when the kid who stabbed the unarmed kid is guilty. And that's more of a statement on what society in America has become than anything. Glenn in Orlando.
Yeah, hey, Shaun, I blame the media because Daniel Penny in New York restrained a man threatening people's lives on the train. The media frames Penny as a killer. This other guy, Carmelo Anthony, brings a knife to a track meet and murders a student who asked him to move. The media frames that kid as self-defense. The media is the problem. Don't believe them.
Listen, the media is running a shield of race issues to keep eye off the money that's being stolen in the name of race issues. So it's really, they're just doing their job. It's our fault for not understanding that, not spotting that, and not demanding that justice be done in every case. You know, and this, let me tell you something, Glenn. If there's anybody out there that thinks this would have been different in a Democrat-controlled area with Democrat judges, if this would have happened in Crook County or L.A. County, this kid would be going to Sizzler today. So, that's the problem, right? Our standards dropped. This isn't shocking to me.
Well,
it's just what should have happened.
His parents got all the money for legal defense, and they spent it on private home and new cars.
Yeah, well, $600,000 and no restrictions, right? So listen.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at this. I'm more disheartened by people who are shocked that we finally, they feel, oh, we finally got judged. What are you talking about? This is exactly how the system is supposed to work. This is a bad kid. He had a long history of bad things. And, to be honest with you, you make 30,000 decisions a day. Every one of us. Did you know that? On average, we make 30,000 decisions a day. So the good ones, your parents get credit. The bad ones, your parents get blamed. This is not about his parent. This is this piece of dung. This kid was born a piece of dung. He chose to be a piece of dung, and that's how it goes. The real thing I have an issue with is anybody would be shocked by this. He stabbed an unarmed kid. He walked into the tent. The case is very clear. And you know who else felt this way? The jury. What did it take them? 50 minutes to come to a verdict? I mean, it's about time that, I guess that's, and I'm doing it now, right? It's about time that the right thing happens. But our problem is we're shocked when the right thing happens. We're more attuned to what we see in Chicago, what we see in New Jersey, what we see in California. And that's a broader statement on how successful, not just media, but politicians and thieves and crooks and murderers have been at numbing us. Look at Chicago just the last couple of days.
And I am hearing that it is a guilty verdict, guilty of murder. In this case of Carmelo Anthony. Brooke is moving to the camera right now as we wait for the official word. We expect that this means that they will come out and make a statement at some point. Immediately, Jonathan, as we wait, what would be happening in this courtroom right now? The verdict has been read. I would imagine that he will be...
Even this. This should have been unequivocal. Of course, you have the evidence. The evidence was heard. The evidence had been out since the time of the murder. Of course he's guilty. Now the question is, will he get what he should get, which is life? He took one, take his. These are not hard decisions. It's just your willingness to demand enforcement of the right thing, always. We'll be back.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative West Indiana and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If you're repairing, they're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance company.
Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. Crosscom Public Adjusters.
Passed away. Thanks. A lot of work to do settling her assets? Actually, she... Make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman
Group.com. Call 847-593-8776.
Now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Throughout Trump's first foreign collusion and the usurpation of democracy through government, they were doing just that. They were colluding with foreign governments to usurp democracy through government.
Subscribe for free today to the Danielle Gill podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or at Salem. Opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Law. Definitely breaking some of them right now. What's the difference? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Slippery shysters have figured out how to create laws without declaring them laws. Mitchell Scotchy is going to discuss that as he is the research manager for the separation of powers at Pacific Legal Foundation. He'll join us to tell you just how much of a slave you are and which rules and regulations and laws you're probably breaking by thinking you're an American. We'll discuss this and so much more.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, expect a chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon, warm and humid with a high. South Carolina, Nevada, and Maine. A U.S. Army helicopter crashed in the Strait of Hormuz. The Apache helicopter went down over the critical waterway, but the president says the pilots are okay.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And what's
nobody
that,
injured.
What brought it down?
We are going to issue a report tomorrow.
Investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison over widespread fraud and government failures. The vice president's referral follows findings from a House Oversight Committee report. One man is dead in Chicago, 3 others walk last night along North Lockwood Avenue. No arrests have been made. Sox host the Braves tonight. Cubs begin a 6-game road swing in Colorado. The Bears continuing mandatory minicamp. And the news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending mixed as the tech sell-off resumes with the AI trade unraveling after an earlier bounce. Semiconductors leading the tech tumble on Tuesday, and after notching a record close just a week ago, the Nasdaq sinking to a one-month low. The Magnificent 7 big-cap tech stocks were mostly lower, led by Apple and Tesla. Oil prices fell, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling at around $88 a barrel. The Dow up 86 points, the Nasdaq lower by 251, S&P 500 down 19. Sales of previously occupied homes accelerated last month at their fastest clip since December. A sharp turnaround in demand after a lackluster start to the spring home buying season. Existing home sales rising 3.2% in May from the previous month, according to the National Association of Realtors. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Alex Marlowe sees great numbers from the economy.
We got 172,000 jobs. The forecast was 85,000 new jobs. So this is twice as much. The trend that we're accelerating, economists have underestimated job growth now 3 straight months, as noted. 3 months average, widely considered a more reliable gauge.
The Alex Marlowe Show. Afternoons at 3, right before Shaun Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account. Plus, you pay zero penalties on the transfer. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SHELTER to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SHELTER to the number 989898.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's joint arthritis treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No delays on the Edens out to Lake Cook Road. The Kennedy is an hour from the Jane Byrne interchange to O'Hare with tie-ups in the Express, Ohio to Keeler. On the Eisenhower, up to an hour and 10 to get to 390 from the post office. Stevenson outbound, a 50-minute trip to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. 30 minutes outbound Ryan, stop and go in the Express, 47th to Marquette. It is busy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, both north and south. Now the tri-state as well. Scattered delays either way. Jane Addams and 355, not too bad. Eastbound Reagan slowing down into the tri-state and eastbound 80. A stalled semi in the right lane at Chicago. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins. This is a great time to bring in your scrap gold jewelry and sterling flatware. Cash or check offered on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm, and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. However, a strong thunderstorm is likely to develop late in the afternoon. These thunderstorms may produce hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
They don't even know. The government does not know how many laws there are in this country. Did you know that? Of course not. They estimate 300,000. 300,000. Now you've got rules. Ooh, rules. I don't like rules. Regulations. I don't like them either. How many of them are there? They don't know that either. They have no fracking idea. You could go to the Code of Federal Regulations. They have 242 volumes. Each volume containing over 100,000 pages. They have no idea how many laws, rules, and regulations there are, but odds are you're breaking one of them, and that'll come with a steep fine. My next guest is a lawyer. He's a very smart lawyer. He's the manager for separation of powers at Pacific Legal Foundation, and he's Italian. although his name is Mitchell. Now, I'm going to say his name the way his grandfather would say it. Now, he'll probably say it's wrong, but he's been cultivated in law school. Scotchy, Mitchell Scotchy. How are you, handsome?
Hey, Shaun, I'm good. How are you? And two quick things for you. I'm actually not a lawyer at Pacific Legal. I'm a researcher. And scacchi in Italian, it means chess. You know, so I don't know if that's how you pronounce it the way my grandfather would, but we say it as scacchi.
Well, we came from an Italian neighborhood, and most of the guys had been punched in the head so much they couldn't pronounce their own name. So we're going to go with Scotchy when I say it, all right? You could hit the other way. So one of the things that's fantastic about the circumstance we face is that, unfortunately, we, and I say this including myself, believe me, I am not just saying this blindly. I grew up in a time where you were raised by people who loved the country. Most of them had fought in wars. I mean, I can remember uncles, World War II, proud as peacocks, killing Nazis. Now we elect them in Maine. And they used to tell me when I was a kid, listen, this is a republic. You, the American, you are protected by law. It is your shield. But see, they weren't smart enough to realize shysters, lawyers, and people who understood they could create something and call it a regulation or a rule, and it would carry the same enforcement power as a law. And now you have a government that not only operates its budget like some moron bookmaker out of one account, but they don't know themselves how many laws, rules, and regulations there are. How did we let this happen, Mitchell?
I love how you introduced the topic because you're right. You know, when you sort of think about like what are we all expected to obey in this country? What are the laws, right? You'd think it should just be everything that's passed by Congress, the laws that go through, you know, both houses of the legislature and are signed by the president, right? That's what we're expected to obey. And we don't even know how many of those laws exist. We don't know how many crimes are on the books, actually. But it goes so far beyond that, right? It's rules and regulations that are issued by federal agencies that are empowered by Congress. They promulgate rules and regulations. They go through, notice and comment, right? The public can, comment on those rules and regulations, and then they issue the final rules. Again, we don't know how many rules and regulations are actually on the books, right? I mean, in terms of just regulatory restrictions, there are some studies that estimate it's north of 1 million regulatory restrictions in the Code of Federal Regulations. And then beyond that, right, the research that we're actually doing, guidance documents, is a whole nother layer of what can often be legally binding regulations on the public that carry the force of law. How this happened, I always say it ultimately stops and starts with Congress. Congress is the one that is supposed to make the laws. A lot of the time, they are passing, very broad delegations of authority to agencies, basically saying, hey, we're going to pass this broad statute. We're going to leave the details, the actual nitty gritty, legally binding policies that are going to affect us on our day-to-day life up to you, the agencies. And then from there, that's when you get the rules and regulations. And that's when you get, guidance documents that are even more informal with less oversight.
So I'm curious to know if you've looked at, and I say this with a concept, but not a specific idea. Which sector, which industry in our society, which sector of our society is the most regulated? And I say this to you because I think personally that it would be medicine, healthcare, and including the drugs. And the reason I say this is that there has never been a better example of a failure policy, but a policy that massively expanded regulation, rules, penalties, and fines than Obamacare. And when you look at the ability for it to chase out decent people who wanted to work outside of a system of fascism and tyranny, and you look at the rules and you see the 50% less doctors, they quit. They just said the smart ones, the ones who were established and made their money, said, I'm out of here. The hospitals who were not in on the money laundering scheme of Medicare and Medicaid and the rest of it, they closed. So it could be that, or it could be banking, or it could be business in agriculture. It could be a plethora of things, because this is how you backdoor nationalize every single citizen in a country, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what is technically the most regulated industry, but I think you're probably right with the two you said. I was going to say banking and finance was going to be, my guess and my answer. And that's just, based off the cuff on just how many agencies I can think of that, regulate that area, right, of finance and banking. Like just, you can think of the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, There are even private, sort of private entities that have basically the force of government, like FINRA. That's all banking, that, securities and exchanges. I think you're probably right.
Now, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a great example of the Obama years and the fascism therein, and an organization that was created with zero oversight. Most people don't realize Congress cannot look at the books, or couldn't, of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the way in which it was structured is why we know the office tramp's name, Kamala Harris, because once they levy the fine, they keep half. The government themselves, the state governments. And that is something that I never understood how it was ever constitutional. Now, it was challenged early on, as most of the Obama fascism was. However, it seemed to stay alive up until Trump. And do people understand how important it is what he had done, specifically in this second term with the 4-year stint of the dimwit and diapers, what he had done to end that fascistic, business-killing, bank nationalizing Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that was really crafted by American socialist, communist, and control oligarchs in government like Elizabeth Warren, the fake Indian?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think you would maybe even be surprised that it's not just the CFPB that, are funded in part by the fines that they impose on people. FINRA is also one that is funded based on the fines that they impose. I know that there are other agencies like that, and so that's a huge conflict of interest.
Of course
issue,
it is.
Right?
It's extortion.
If part of your budget and part of your bottom line is based on the fines that you're issuing, right, to private parties, then a huge conflict of interest issue.
Well, you learn this as you get older and you start to read. If for those of us that can, if you didn't go to Chicago public schools, which you have a very big chance of not knowing how to read. But when you look at what the EPA and the insane agenda of the EPA, it was never about climate. It was always about charging people for the right to pollute. And when you look at what they've done with these companies, they never shut anybody down. They didn't even make anybody clean up anything that they polluted. They just made them pay a fine. So that's another aspect that Donald Trump has significantly weakened in the form of the forever bureaucrats and the forever bureaucracy. He's weakened these institutions. But I want your opinion on it. Is this something that can be reversed as quickly as it was done by Donald Trump? Because from what I understand, he basically did it through executive order, which means if you get another dementia patient in a diaper that steals another election, it can be undone. Do I have it right?
Yeah. If everything is done through executive order, right, what's stopping the next, administration from doing everything through executive order as well? That's why it's such a problem to make laws and make policy through executive orders, because there's the the back and forth there, right, of the radically the sharp changes in policy that can occur. It's the same thing that happens with rules and regulations. It's the same thing that happens with guidance documents, right? And that's why I think at Pacific Legal Foundation, that's why we stress the Constitution, right? We have processes in place. It's very clear how our government is supposed to make laws. They're supposed to go through bicameralism, both houses of Congress, signed by the president. That's what we're expected to obey as the public, right? Those are the laws, and we should know what those laws are. And if we're relying on federal agencies to be vested with vast power to make the laws themselves, or even through executive orders or through guidance documents, right? And then the mass just grows and grows and grows, and we don't know how many crimes are on the books. We don't know how many rules and regulations there are. We can't follow any of that. Nobody actually knows, what we're supposed to obey. And so that's why it's really important to follow the Constitution. That's why it's important to actually pass laws through the lawmaking process, because and then that allows your policy preferences to be on firmer footing, as opposed to orders or rules and regulations. But the Constitution is really important. The separation of powers is key, and we have those processes in place for a reason.
And I love these legal foundations such as your own. And, it's fascinating when you look at the history of Pacific Legal Foundation. I mean, since 1973, right? And you've been suing the government, basically. That's what you do. Pacific Legal Foundation sues the government. And it's amazing to watch how comfortable we are as citizens in tolerating politicians or people who would be politicians who run specifically against the agenda of what our country is. The individuality of it. We are the only country that is founded on the individual liberty, not the power of government. And when you listen to these would-be frauds, like whether it's Barack Obama or the Nazi in Maine, and they tell you we're going to deliver universal health care, the last thing I want to do, Mitchell, is pay for some sloth, some communist, some bust-out rat pig who's ever voted Democrat. I'm going to be very frank with you. I do not ever knowingly do business. I don't let lawyers and doctors touch my beautiful body who are Democrats. I refuse to tolerate them. Why must I subsidize their health care, their housing, their food? Isn't socialism, in the grand theory of what America is, that we're all going to celebrate? Isn't these policies of collectivism unconstitutional in the first place? And our real problem is we do not challenge it because we don't know the power we have as citizens with organizations such as yours.
Individual liberty is key. You know, it's the highest value. I think it's the bedrock principle of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. And, you know, as far as Pacific Legal Foundation is concerned, the powers of our government, what they're allowed to do, are very clearly enumerated in the Constitution, right? It is not that big of a document. It's easy to read. You can do it in a matter of minutes. You know, Article 1, Section 8 sets out what Congress's powers are, and those are, you know, the Constitution was very purposeful in setting out a limited government. And the separation of powers, dividing those powers between three branches of government, keeps the government in check, keeps the government limited. And that is the main bulwark for protecting individual liberty, right? And so we should, if you care about individual liberty, you should certainly care about the Constitution. You should certainly care about the separation of powers. And yeah, you're exactly right. That's what Pacific Legal Foundation is doing every day.
One of the things that's amazing is how these particular fiefdoms, I call them Democrat states, but they could be counties, and they're definitely cities. When you look at the absolute fraud in the financial schemes that these institutions have, one of the things that strikes me is it's perfectly legal for a slob of an underachiever like J.B. Pritzker to come out and say, I balanced the budget. It's perfectly legal for them to say, this is fiscally solvent and it will do no harm. But yet, if a citizen gets a knock on the door by two FBI agents, who probably are Democrats, and they ask you if you have sugar in the cupboard, and you say no, and you do, technically you've lied to a government official, and you could do a year and a day in jail. How in the world, in a country based on law, in the Republic, did it become legal for the government to knowingly lie to the people, but the people can't even make a mistake to Federal Bureau of Investigations, or as it's known in my neighborhood, Forever Bothering Italians, and stay out of prison? Can you explain that to me?
That's a good point. You know, maybe this goes beyond my area of expertise, even this specific issue. But I think I would just come back to this idea that, you know, government has grown so much. Government is so big, and these agencies and bureaucrats, they have a lot of power. And, you know, as a result, like we keep saying, we're supposed to, you know, in a free country, we should know what rules and laws we're expected to obey. And I think we've just gotten to a point, you know, whether it's Congress's fault, you know, not wanting to do its job, passing the buck to agencies, right? We've gotten to this point where we just don't even know what the laws and the rules are anymore. We don't know what we're expected to obey. It's so big that even the people who make the laws, they don't even know, right?
No.
And I think it can ultimately just come back to that.
Now, when you say, you know, what I love about what you do at Pacific Legal is you sue the government. And a lot of the problem is I don't think the government is sued enough. I think the government needs to be sued always, especially as they grow the government. And we've become complacent in this. So when you're talking about something as sophomoric as how many laws do you have? And the government says, I don't know. How many rules do you have? I don't know. How many regulations? I don't know. Isn't this something that Pacific Legal Foundation needs a name to sue the government? And I'm saying this to you because my dream before I die is Shaun Thompson versus the U.S. government. I'm dying to get on that lawsuit, kid. Can you make it happen?
Hey, if you feel that your constitutional rights have been violated by the government, you can totally give us a call, especially if it's in the area of property rights or anything like that.
I'm a heterosexual taxpayer in America. My rights are violated from the time I wake up till I go to sleep.
then hey, I encourage you to reach out to one of our lawyers. We can maybe see if there's a case there. But yeah, I mean, that's what Pacific Legal is trying to do every day. We focus on property rights, equality and opportunity, separation of powers, and environment and natural resources. And so, we're always trying to stand up for the individual and sue the government when it violates people's rights. And so, if there's a treasure trove of laws and regulations on the book, and people don't even know how many there are, well, I mean, there are potential for a lot of cases there. That's maybe the bright side.
Now, Mitchell, I'm gonna tell everybody you go to Pacific Legal. It's .org if I remember correctly, right? PacificLegal.org.
Yeah, PacificLegal.org. Yes.
And support the organization. But now I'm going to guess. Is your mother Scottish? Is that why you refuse to pronounce your last name correctly?
Both of my parents are Italian.
Oh, come on, Mitchell. You don't have a grandfather that taught you how to say it? Go ahead. You say it the way you want, and then I'll say it the way I want. Go ahead.
Scotchy.
Mitchell Scotchy. The Scotch. The Scotch-a-mooch. He is at Pacific Legal. Thank you so much for making time for me, Mitchell. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Shaun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
It's finally happening. The Fed is making a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. When interest rates go down, the value of precious metals like gold and silver can surge. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold and silver investor guide, a $49 value plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's insightful book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Inside, you'll get honest information about gold, silver, and other precious metals, so you can explore your options with clarity and confidence. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free. Markets can turn fast, but gold has maintained its value through every cycle, often holding strong when other assets falter and when the dollar weakens. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
When the seasons shift, you need a heating and cooling team you can trust to keep your home just right. That's where Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, the original, comes in. This family-owned gem has been a local favorite for more than 45 years, sending only their own top-notch, highly trained technicians to your door. Whether it's a quick repair, a full installation, or anything in between, their work is unmatched, and their customer service feels like family. Keeping you cozy in the winter and cool in the summer, Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling delivers comfort you can count on. I've known Garrett and his family for years, and they are great friends of AM 560. Dial 847-545-1700 or visit ArlingtonHeightsHeatingandCooling.com. Mention AM 560 and enjoy 20% off your first service call. Again, go to ArlingtonHeightsHeatingandCooling.com. The original Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling, not the biggest, but absolutely the best.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply. Trusted by schools for over 20 years.
312-642-5600. We'll take your calls and comments when I get back. And we're also going to talk about Mitch McConnell is apparently still alive. And he says, of course, there's going to be continuing resolutions because the Senate can't even pass the SAVE Act, let alone spending bills. We'll talk about that and so much more. I'll take your calls. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott and the news.
Good evening, Shaun. A thunderstorm in spots overnight with a low of 70. Our top story in the QC Kinetics newsroom. 4 states holding primary elections today. North Dakota, South Carolina, Nevada, and Maine. A U.S. Army helicopter crashed in the Strait of Hormuz. The president says the pilots are fine.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And was
nobody
that
injured.
Brought it down?
We are going to issue a report tomorrow.
That critical waterway has been blockaded by both the U.S. and Iran. 1 man is dead, 3 others are wounded in a shooting on Chicago's west side. A 15-year-old boy and 3 men, according to police, were on that sidewalk along North Lockwood Avenue when someone in a passing SUV opened fire and shot them. Palatine police are investigating after a man who was reported as suspicious was found dead in a body of water Monday night around 6 p.m. near the popular Twin Lakes Park area. Sox and Braves tonight. Cubs start a road swing in Colorado. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center and Jill Urchak.
Busy conditions on the outbound Kennedy, a 50-minute trip out to O'Hare. Going out on the Edens, though, you're in luck. No delays, Montrose to Lake Cook Road. The Eisenhower 1 hour, Post Office to 390. Stevenson out 45 due Sapa Lakeshore Drive to 355. There is an accident reported at Damon. The Dan Ryan 25 to get to 95th from the Janeburn interchange. Express stop and go 51st to Marquette. Delays continue along DuSable Lakeshore Drive southbound and northbound Tri-State South. There's a crash at 87th in the right lane, slowing eastbound Reagan into the Tri-State. And now busy southbound 355, eastbound 80. There is a stalled semi in the right lane at Chicago. This report is the service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm, and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. A strong thunderstorm is forecasted to develop late in the afternoon, potentially bringing hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Larry Elder explains the state of California.
In 2025, 2026, between 400,000 and 500,000 people left the state. School scores, California is ranked 41st, even though it ranks 13 in the amount of money it spends. It's got 1/3 of all the homeless people in the nation, 1/3 of all welfare recipients in the nation. And the question is, have Californians finally had enough?
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Shaun Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
We work a lifetime to build a legacy for our families, but the most enduring gift you can give them is the peace of mind you provide when they need it most. When you pre-plan your arrangements at Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, you replace the weight of uncertainty with the gift of clarity. Secure today's costs and protect your family from making emotional and financial decisions at the time of need. It's a final act of love they'll never forget. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5407.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Got a large collection? We'll make it fit in your wallet. DonleyAuctions.com.
I told y'all Trump would mess everything up. It's his fault. It's his fault. Yeah, Jalen Brunson then passed the ball. He shot twice as much as everybody else. OG Anunoby had 28 points and 13 shots. Jalen Brunson had 32 points and 25 shots. It was like he was trying to win MVP. It's not how they played the first 2 games. But it's all about...
Gives a rip. Stephen A. Smith. It's all Trump's fault. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, do you realize how demented that is? Do you? Seriously. I mean, I know that a lot of people are talking about this. I personally don't give a rip about men in costumes chasing balls, but specifically the kind that draw the attention of communists.
TMZ in the house. My mayor Muslim. My bagel Jewish. My Christian Dior. Nixon. I saw people doing it on Twitter, so I just wanted to do it. You know, a lot of people are thinking, what is Trump's reception going to be like tonight at Madison Square Garden? Yeah. And I know it's easy to say, oh, he's going to get booed, but like, Manhattan's not as liberal as people think. So what do you think?
It's not just that. It's also that these tickets were going for like $42,000 a piece.
Did she say $42,000 a piece there, Spreidel? I think she did. $42,000 a piece to watch a basketball game? Are you out of your fracking mind? You know who doesn't pay $42,000? Any politician. Any socialist, communist politician. They have a special deal.
Standing room only ticket. I'm just not familiar. Did you get like a discount from the Garden through that, or was that just something you bought online on like Ticketmaster?
So that's something that I purchased directly from the Madison Square Garden. Close to $1,000 was the price of it, and standing room only is just the section that I'll be standing in.
But you can't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. And the ones that do come out of the mouths of Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries. By the way, is it me, or does Hakeem Jeffries look like somebody who definitely rides a horse side saddle? I didn't know that the Knicks sold a pink hat, but I should have known that the only one that would wear it is the one Sean Puffy Combs insisted was not only at the parties, the P. Diddy parties, but when he insisted that an illegal alien boy was tied to a radiator with a Fidel Castro hat on. Hakeem Jeffries.
But it also is not clear to me that Donald Trump is a big Knicks fan. I mean, does this guy even know the difference between Karl Rove and Karl Anthony Towns?
You know what's funny? Isn't Hakeem Jeffries, he's from the area. He doesn't know the long, storied history of decades and decades of Donald Trump in New York, but moreover, Donald Trump and the Knicks. You didn't know this? It goes back to when you were just a little tiny communist, before you developed a taste for illegal alien young boys.
Nothing says New York like Donald Trump, who is a big Knicks fan and who joins us now. Donald, I know you're a Knicks fan, so are you disappointed that Kobe's not here, or are you glad he's not here because it ups your chances?
Well, I guess you could look at it both ways, but I'd like to see Kobe play. I came here to see my man Kobe. Kobe is great. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying, what happened to Kobe? But I guess he had a little problem.
Yeah, you got to talk to your friends at the NBA.
Not only did he go to every Knicks game, he had courtside tickets. And you remember there, Megamind, when he had JFK Jr. sitting right next to him on the floor of the Knicks game. Where was Hakeem? Oh, boy. Don't answer that. Nobody wants to know, freak.
162 lead. The last time diving into the arms of Donald Trump. Gates, what I did? Well, I never realized how big he was until I was holding him. This was not pretty. You take a hard hit? A little bit of a hit, but he's great. He's a good guy. I know him, so it's okay. What do you think of the Knicks comeback here? I think they're doing great. It's a great game. All right. Don't get hurt. Have a good time.
70s, 80s, 90s. Before Barack Obama, things were completely different in this country, weren't they? But one thing that's never really changed, a Democrat will say anything he thinks politically will be an advantage to him. Like Stephen A. Smith. I never understood the popularity of this ugly bastard. I never did.
I don't want to talk about it. I told y'all Trump would mess everything up. It's his fault. It's his fault. Yeah, Jalen Brunson didn't pass the ball. He shot twice as much as everybody else. OG Anunoby had 28 points and 13 shots. Jalen Brunson had 32 points and 25 shots. It was like he was trying to win MVP. It's not how they played the first two games. But it's all about Trump. Trump ruined this. President Donald Trump showed up here and disrupted the vibe, disrupted the momentum, disrupted everything. And the New York Knicks faltered because of it. It's all his fault. That's all I have to say.
Do you know who he's appealing to? He's not just appealing to absolute and total morons who have a low IQ to still not understand what the Democrat mafia really is. He is appealing to the upper echelon of the Democrat mafia.
Look, you fat Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of people. You hear me, you fat ass?
I swear I thought he was talking to Hillary.
This is what we believe. You're right.
She's got a big,
I've got
big
Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the mother. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I want to hate him more.
In case you don't have a mirror in your house, you look fracking terrible, Carville. I remember back when you were a consultant to the drug dealer, Bill Clinton, the rapist, president of Mena, Arkansas. I remember all of those years. You were repulsive, but not like now. It's a new level of... Ugh. Deborah, Arlington Heights.
Hey, Shaun, I just can't even tell you guys how sick and tired I am of hearing how everything is Donald Trump's fault. This is one of the more ludicrous ones. So I think, like, blaming him for the Knicks' performance in the game. And by the way, James Carville is just, he's got some serious problems. But I mean, like, this stuff is just absolutely out of control. Or Hakeem Jeffries saying he doesn't know if Donald Trump is even a Knicks fan. Like, go back and re-roll the tape. You can find pictures and stuff of him years ago going to games. I don't know where these people come from. We're on a different planet.
And this is the beauty. And you know what we need to do? And I understand. It does. It becomes overwhelming. It becomes aggravated, and people detach. But I'm telling you, Deborah, it is time to grab what they hate and rub it in their fracking bruise every single time, because it's also Donald Trump's fault that drug dealers are broke, that there is the border is shut down, that the stock market is up, that private growth in the economy is in 11 states, not one run by Democrats. The success is also Donald Trump's fault. And that's what they don't want to talk about. So that's why they talk like this. And Stephen A. Smith is qualified to do what? I've never understood it. ESPN in general, and I had on the guy who was a co-founder, who, by the way, is somebody who loves this country. And after it was sold and all the communist networks that it is, I mean, why do they even exist at this point? Who's watching this stuff except the morons? It's a magnet for the morons, Deborah, and anybody that pays $42,000 for a ticket. I don't even care what the team is. I hope you lose. What do you think of that?
No, I agree. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, Mamdani did not get that ticket for $1,000. My understanding is that the tickets were a minimum of $4,000 a piece, and so I don't know where he's getting that number from. And I just, you can't. It gets so frustrating that people continue to just lie through their teeth, and they don't think we're smart enough to be able to see through it.
Listen, for years ago, these people, they were cloaked with the idea they were a political party. The beauty, Deborah, now in the year 2026, they're liars, like Mandamni. He lived with his mother and father before he became the mayor. They achieved nothing. They're good at nothing except the storytelling. This is beautiful. And by the way, the areas that they're in are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you mark my words, Deborah, Donald Trump will rewrite the American map. He is going to free the counties that are not given the cancer of corruption run by Democrats. You mark my words, Deborah. And all you have to do is look at the election of 2020 to understand exactly how he knows where the problems are. The problems are where the Democrats have made people comfortable with what we know is absolute and total theft of both money and the democracy.
There's one thing that is just extraordinary to anyone watching, which is this mail-in ballot 7 days after the election. The argument is, well, we want maximum participation. So if someone wants to vote on election day, we're going to treat sending in a mail ballot the same as if you were voting. That's why we're going to give 7 days for the ballot to arrive. But there's a line in the law that says that actually the proof that you mailed your ballot on or just before election day, even if it arrives after election day, it's not just the postmark. You can write it. You can handwrite the date.
Wow.
And that counts. It's not, I was talking about this at the last elections. I had a whistleblower from the Postal Service explaining this. So just to be really clear what that means, you can backdate your ballot.
By hand.
By hand. And it will be counted. That's how...
It's preposterous. And who is supposed to save you are the decent people. For now, they pretend to be Republicans, but they're not really. It's the Republican Senate that cannot pass the SAVE Act. And then when you look at who makes up the Republican Senate.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Mitch? You all right? Mitch?
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running
Did you hear
for election in 2026?
Jiminy Cricket and a flashlight, just staring at it. Mitch.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator.
He died right there. He either died or in celebration of the question, he soiled his trousers and decided to run again this year. Who the frack knows? He's the same moron that is the obstacle for the SAVE Act, and he's the same one that just minutes ago said, of course, there will be a continuing resolution because if we pass a bill, that means it's a law, and that means it can't be reversed the next time Democrats steal an election like they're stealing one right now in California. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer. Looking for some hope? Listen to Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef on our sister station, AM 1160. Hope for your life. Weekday mornings starting at 8.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rick Borick talks about the risk of being in the stock market right near retirement.
It's easy to drive around with no seatbelt on if you never think you're going to have an accident, right?
and you go, well, it's never going to go down. I don't need protection for my portfolio. We're a big fan of getting those gains, but we're also a bigger fan of not taking huge losses.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today. Online at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Or text the word app to 312-642-5600. AM 560, The Answer.
Megamind filling in for the Squirrel Meister, who's on vacation. Hope he's having a wonderful time. Depends where he went. I told him, don't go by Democrats. You'll end up tied to a tree with your underwear in your mouth, screaming for help.
Evidence of election fraud continues to mount.
Democrats are concerned the real facts about the election could take center stage and want to create a media frenzy on anything but the facts surrounding the election. Pennsylvania had over 1.5 million fraudulent votes counted, and the spread is less than 82,000 votes. These fraudulent votes come from dead voters, ballots that were received before they were supposedly mailed out, and over 330,000 electronic spikes from the voting machine.
And this is after Donald Trump shocked the world. It didn't really shock me. I knew Hillary Clinton couldn't get a dog to go up and sniff anything other than her face because they smell each other's ass, Megamind. You get it? You got to pay attention. You're going to listen to this show. Because her face looked like a dog's ass. Most unlikable woman in American politics, bar none.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
I agree, Bill. I think you would have rather banged the chair than your own wife. And everybody in the country understood it. Except for the intern. That was a little low. She's 21. You're 50, 60 at the time? Sick bastard. That was after he told Paula Jones, kiss it, and had raped significant women. So it's fascinating to watch how Barack Obama knew, I have to protect this nonsense, because if this cowboy gets in and he's too big to rig, he will undo every scam I have going. This was a scandal that broke, and Barack Obama knew he had to protect it.
Hundreds of world leaders and climate change experts are descending on Copenhagen to try to come up with a new pact to slow global warming. And thousands of protesters across Europe today were trying to send them a message. It's time to stop talking and make a deal. But reaching that deal has now been complicated by what's being called ClimateGate, a string of hacked private emails between global climate change scientists in the U.S. and Europe, which have cast doubts on the very science this summit is based on. The emails seem to show that some of the world's top experts decided to exclude or manipulate some research that didn't help prove global warming exists. 1998 was the hottest year since record-keeping began, but the temperature went down the next year, and it's only spiked a couple of times since. An email from 1999 shows scientists worked hard to demonstrate an upward trend. They talk of using a trick to hide the decline in global temperatures. It worked like this. When temperature readings gathered from studying tree rings showed what looked like a decline in temperatures from the 1980s to the present, the scientists added in measurements taken later by more modern instruments, which gave them the answer they wanted. The scientists say the emails are being misinterpreted.
A lot of charges have been made that I think are quite unjustified.
Fraud! All fraud. And everybody knew it, and the trillions and trillions of dollars that Barack Obama had committed stopped on a dime. As thankfully, Donald Trump pulls us out of the agreement to make everything more expensive and make our country weaker, called the Paris Climate Accord. Barack Obama knew what it would cost, and he made certain the elections would never be legitimate again.
205,000 overvotes, meaning there were 205,000 more votes than registered voters, and 682,000 ballots that were illegally processed without any oversight whatsoever.
And poor Rudy Giuliani, when he discovered this, he had a pinky ring and a Mercedes. Now 2 fat pigs who stole the election in Georgia are stinking up that SL. I think 560, but I don't have the definition of exactly what model he had. However, those 2 fat election thief scum in Georgia are driving it. They fast-tracked it, they corrupted it, and they made up everything to prevent Donald Trump from getting the White House in the first place.
I don't think that we should be surprised that he wants to fire the intelligence community.
The U.S. intelligence community is the swamp of American life?
Russia? All of that came from Russia.
Wait a second. Are you saying the election? You don't believe that?
This has been debunked, Terry.
No, it is not true at all. You can laugh about it, but it still doesn't make it true. That's actually a lie. It was not debunked that Russia did not try to interfere with our election. That was never debunked. Can you just acknowledge that never had never been debunked?
This was an effort on the part of President Barack Obama to derail President Trump's first 2 years in his
at the table.
That's
another lie.
Yeah, I mean,
Barack Obama next should be shocked that he really likes fellas and he's really not that attracted to Bigfoot. Of course he's not. Nobody is.
As Trump was coming into office, I think you're conflating.
Hold on a second, Rob. I think you're conflating two things.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't actually necessarily agree with the thing that I think you're trying to say, but I'll explain what you're.
There are now, thanks to Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump, irrefutable evidence. Barack Obama, along with crooked assets in our government, protected the stealing of not just climate agenda, but protected the money laundering scheme they had set in motion decades before.
Sir, the Republicans are trying to blame you for the existence of a small air base at Mena, Arkansas. This base was set up by George Bush and Oliver North and the CIA to help the Iran-Contras. And they brought in plane load after plane load of cocaine there for sale in the United States. And then they took the money and bought weapons and took them back to the Contras, all of which was illegal, as you know, under the Bolin Act. But tell me, did they tell you that this had to be in existence because of national security?
Well, let me answer the question. No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything.
They told me if I went along with it, I could get free cocaine and keep the money I stole. We'll be back.
A celebrity impersonation. Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Join Illinois Right to Life at the biggest pro-life night of the year. Our annual Leaders for Life Gala will be held on Thursday, June 18th at Drury Lane Theater and Events in Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois, and will feature big names like detransitioner and pro-life advocate Chloe Cole and Congressman Bob Onder, sponsor of the Chloe Cole Act in Congress. Plus, experience our Pro-Life Expo and enjoy an open bar during the cocktail hour starting at 6 p.m. Come together with Illinois pro-lifers from across the state to hear about the Illinois Pro-Life March, Project Love, and so much more. AM 560 listeners get 50% off the ticket price with the code AM 560. To get your tickets, head to IllinoisRightToLife.org/gala. That's IllinoisRightToLife.org/gala. This will be a night to remember.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100.
Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Hello, this is Kevin Coyne, Chairman of the DuPage County GOP, inviting you to join us for our second annual summer kickoff and celebration of America's 250th birthday. Our event will be in Addison at American Tap on June 24th. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. And we will hear from our new Illinois GOP Chairman Bob Grogan, State Senator Seth Lewis, and State Representative Jennifer Sanolitro. We'll also have a special appearance from former Cubs pitching great Steve Trout. Tickets are $75 and can be purchased in advance at our website, DuPageGOP.com. Paid for by DuPage County Republican Central Committee.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
As now the U.S. has resumed kicking the dung out of the theocracy calling itself Iran, I felt it was the perfect time to interview Rabbi Michael Barclay, host of the radio show and podcast The Rabbi's Table, Dialogue Not Debate. We'll discuss exactly how you can make peace with the unpeaceful, how you can reason with the unreasonable, and why we pretend we can with the Islamo-Nazis who are running the land of the Aryan, which is what Iran translates to. That doesn't make me feel good. We'll discuss that and so much more after Foxweiser.
Retaliatory strikes against Iran. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. After Tehran downed a U.S. military helicopter off the coast of Oman, the U.S. military says it's not clear if the collision between the Apache and an Iranian drone was intentional. U.S. service members on board the chopper were rescued.
The targets include air defense systems and radars. Explosions have been reported in Iran's port city of Sirak and Bandar Abbas, one of the main oil terminal port cities. CENTCOM described these strikes as defensive and proportional. At this moment, we believe them to be ongoing. Flight trackers report at least 8 KC-135 air refueling tankers are airborne over the Middle East right now, likely needed to refuel accompanying American warplanes across the Gulf.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Before this incident, President Trump again expressed optimism over negotiations with Iran, saying there's a good chance of signing a deal in 2 or 3 days. Jurors in Texas deliberating in the penalty phase of the trial of Carmelo Anthony. The 19-year-old was found guilty of murder this afternoon in the killing of Austin Metcalf at a track meet last year. Polls now closed in South Carolina, where voters are deciding who will replace term-limited Governor Henry McMaster. President Trump has endorsed Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette. Candidates in South Carolina must reach a majority or head to a runoff later this month. In Maine, polls close in about an hour, where, among other races, voters are deciding who should run against incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins. Progressive Democrat Graham Plattner has come under fire over allegations of his behavior toward women and over a Nazi tattoo, which he has since covered up.
Plattner's former campaign's political director says voters are being deceived here. She wrote this in a new op-ed. "We have learned to excuse what we should condemn. I want better for my daughters and for the people of Maine. Democrats are being sold a narrative that Plattner is the only choice."
Fox's Alexis McAdams. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the Ediths, no delays. Outbound trip inbound side heavy at 50 minutes. Kennedy inbound has an accident at Foster, and that is in the right lane. On the outbound Kennedy, 45 minutes back to the airport. Eisenhower Post Office out to 390 is an hour. Crash inbound Stevenson at First Avenue, 48 in, and it's 50 minutes out to 355. Outbound Ryan, 25 minutes. To Saba Lakeshore Drive is heavy. Either way, Tri-State, you'll see tie-ups both directions. Southbound, an accident at 87th in the right lane. Westbound Reagan, there's an accident at Washington in the right lane. And a stall eastbound 80 at Chicago has just been cleared as well. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. However, a strong thunderstorm is likely to develop late in the afternoon. These thunderstorms may produce hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Fight or flight? In Illinois, you've got both options. You can stay and fight, engage in local races, work to change things. Or you can vote with your feet. At leavingil.com, we help you build a smart exit plan so you know where to go, when to go, and how to do it right. Take our quick exit readiness assessment. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account. Plus, you pay 0 penalties on the transfer. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SHELTER to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SHELTER to the number 989898.
Hey, if you're living with joint pain, listen up. Is your life filled with I can't? I can't raise my arms. I can't climb stairs. I can't kneel down. I can't take a long walk or golf with the guys. Well, today's a new day. Take action. A day to celebrate what you can do. And that's exactly what QC Kinetics patients are doing. Back to enjoying their lives again thanks to the innovative treatments offered at QC Kinetics. I've seen the results and personally recommend Dr. Caravelli and her team. So many of you have been through their life-changing regenerative treatments done right in the office. No missing work, no surgery, no long recovery. The inflammation calms down. I want you to schedule a free consultation. You don't have to live a life of I can't. Have a conversation with my friends at QC Kinetics and tell them I sent you when you do. Their treatments are natural, so don't watch summer pass you by again. Take action today. Schedule an appointment right now. Consultations are free. Call 312-827-6261. Again, that number, 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics to be pain-free this summer at 312-827-6261.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
As aggravating as so much of what is happening in America is, I believe it to be a true blessing, because now there is undeniable proof of our allegations that the American Democrat is in fact yesteryear's National Socialist Worker Party Nazi. It isn't just because of the actions we saw under COVID. Right now, as we speak, the Democrats are electing an out-of-the-closet Nazi for the Senate, the U.S. Senate. After all, they tout their ideas of National Socialist Worker Parties, and look at who they throw their support behind when it comes to foreign policy. Luckily, America is kicking the ass again of the Islamo-Nazi, calling themselves Iran, which translates directly to land of the Aryans. The theocracy known as Iran, and every American Democrat is hoping they win. My next guest knows this all too well. He spent his life warning us, spends his life educating us. He is host of the radio show and podcast The Rabbi's Table, Dialogue Not Debate. You've also seen his work in PJ Media and the Jewish Journal. He's my friend Rabbi Michael Barclay. How are you?
I'm well, thank God. Shaun, how are you doing?
Good. Good, because it's, even though I understand what the mission of the Department of Agitation and Propaganda called media, what their goal is to demoralize, distract, and fraud the American people, I also see how these areas of American Nazis are getting smaller, smaller, and smaller, and more obvious in everything from their election theft to the theft of policy money. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, Shaun, I totally agree with you, and that's why I'm smoking an Oliva cigar given to me by our mutual friend A.J. Rice. You are 100% right, and I think that America is seeing the evil of what this Democratic Party has become. And, I see it clearly in Los Angeles, and I think what's going on in Los Angeles is being watched by the rest of the country. Spencer Pratt was way ahead, and then suddenly all the votes come in that are mail-in votes, and suddenly he's not in the runoff with Karen Bass. And the country realizes what's going on. Los Angeles, California, we all realize it. And I think the nation is getting tired of this kind of defrauding, as you put it, and this cheating and the values and ethics that they aspire to, which are not American values.
No.
Judeo-Christian values. They're just not.
And, it's fascinating when you dissect the problems. The problems are not necessarily states, they're counties in this country. And when you look at California, it's a very interesting, the land of Reagan. But 72% of the counties, the 58 counties, voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. It's the counties that are led by the admitted communists, Marxists, and Nazis, calling themselves socialists. And that's what you have now. That's the perfect goal that the election thievery gives the people, the illusion of a democracy, the illusion of a republic, where your choices are the communist and the Council of Foreign Relations, Karen Bass, the asshat that she is, or as I like to call her, large Gary Coleman, or this new one who is linked to NGOs and the other scallywags, the ramen noodle. She is perfect, as she has started her own NGO, is in a picture giving the other NGO, who has just admitted and been caught with frauding drug addicts and degenerates in stealing elections and filling out ballots. And the people in the Democrat areas are hoping they pull it off in the same way they're hoping the Islamo-Nazi wins in Iran, isn't it?
It's very true. And my hope and my prayer is that the American people are starting to realize the evil that is Iran. In the same way they're starting to realize the evil of the Democratic Party, that they're starting to realize the evil that is in Iran, the evil that is inherent in traditional, authentic Islam, and realizing, okay, we need to stop this before it's too late, both overseas with Iran and also domestically with the different Sharia communities that are popping up all over the country. So my hope is that America starts to recognize it, and I have faith in people, and so I think they will.
Yes, I have faith in people, and I always understand good people, unfortunately, are restrained by their good qualities. They're restrained by politeness. They're restrained by civility. They're restrained by demure personalities that want to go along to get along. But one of the things I find ironically sickening right now, as we celebrate my Uncle Mikey surviving Normandy and so many of the others and so many of the people who died in Normandy, and we look at the welcome arms of American citizens in advocating for, not just making excuses, but embracing Graham Plattner, a fracking Nazi. And Rabbi, one of the things that amazes me about World War II is I was lucky enough to be influenced by people who fought it, like my Uncle Mikey and my Uncle Charlie and everybody else who went, my Uncle Louie, my Uncle Joe, and all the rest of it. Right? The National Socialist Worker Party and the destruction of Germany, which was at the time, intellectually, they were thought to be the most advanced, most philosophers and doctors and all the rest of it. And how did they first attack the Jew? Nazis, the National Socialist Worker Party, was that the Jew was a nonconformist. He was a capitalist. He didn't want to be overtaxed. He didn't want to have his life controlled. But that didn't sell as much as the hatred for religion. This is late on his car payment in Chicago. The growth of support of the National Socialist Worker Party Nazis in America has never been greater than it is right now, and I'm including when they sold out Madison Square Garden before Pearl Harbor.
Right, Shaun. And if you study history and study the history of the Nazi Party, there were two big things that happened that we've seen in our country in recent years. The first was something called Horst Wessel. Horst Wessel was a man who was a pimp, drug dealer, and he didn't pay his rent, and so his landlady had some communist thugs beat him up. He ended up dying. Goebbels and Hitler used that to start the brown shirt riots, saying, oh, look, he's been abused by the authorities, etc. Very parallel to George Floyd, who's basically Horst Wessel 2.0. The other thing is that you knew when they insisted they had enough pressure, even though they were not the main political party, they had enough propaganda pressure that the Nazis were able to get the Nazi flag put on federal buildings and flown next to the tricolor German flag. Well, we saw that with the BLM flag going up on federal buildings and state buildings. So we are well farther down that road, God forbid, than anyone wants to admit. And we really need to wake up. I feel like the words that need to keep being said are wake up, because we are down a path that is not going to lead to a good end.
Well, I also think that we spend a lot of times with our back on the ropes, right? This is what civilized people do. They're afraid to advance. They want to defend. And one of the things I'm hoping, and I understand, listen, when we talk about Donald Trump, it's truly amazing when you look back at the legacy of who he was and what he represents. He represents somebody who has not been cultivated in the culture of corruption. He never ran for dog catcher. He becomes president, massively changes things because he wants America to do well, and it's called Make America Great Again or America First. But one of the things I think he recognizes, and I'm curious to know in the grand scheme of history as sometimes we're witness to, it's almost a blessing that the election was stolen in 2020, because now he has a different agenda, and that agenda may be to save the decent people trapped in very bad areas. But when you look at a map of America, and you could do it in any election, but if you go to 2020 or 2024, or right now in California, when you look at the map, it is only a few in comparison to the vast majority of counties that are run by this ideological National Socialist Worker Party, the American Nazi called Democrat. It's only a few. And there is a way to do this peacefully by allowing these counties the right for secession, the right for to change different state managers. In the case of California, it's a staggering amount, but it's less than in Illinois. If you look at New Jersey, if you look at New York, these are counties that are well run by decent people. Do you think maybe he needs to take the approach of, you know what we're going to do? You're comfortable in L.A. County, congratulations. You're comfortable in Cook County. You're comfortable in Nassau County, whatever the case is. You're comfortable in these corrupt counties. You guys, we're going to allow the good counties to separate, because none of this socialism that they preach, none of it operates if they cannot extort the decent people. My country is set up on the protections of the decent. Don't you think it's time the federal government starts to rewrite the American map rather than focusing on all the others?
Look, I agree and disagree on that, only because it's certainly in Los Angeles, it's impractical to separate L.A. County or specifically L.A. City from where people are working, where they're going, et cetera. But I think you're 100% right that the federal government needs to get involved. I wrote an article yesterday or the day before on PJ Media that this is across the board in foreign policy and domestic. This is the defining moment for Donald Trump. Trump is an amazing CEO, and God bless him, and what he's accomplished has been phenomenal. But like any good CEO, he listens to advisors. On the one hand, he's got Rubio. On the other hand, he's got Vance and Wickoff, as an example. And there's a biblical quote. I'm a rabbi, so I like that
I love that too.
Book. But there's a biblical teaching in the book of Esther where Esther is told by Mordecai that she needs to go to the king and she needs to save her people. She's very recalcitrant to do it. And Mordecai says, well, what if the reason you're in this position is specifically so you could do this? And the question for President Trump that I would ask is, God saved your life at Butler. There's no question, a micrometer off, a millimeter off, a millisecond off, he's dead, God forbid. God saved your life. What if your life was saved so you could get this country back in order and remove the democratic Nazis, as you put it, remove the evil of Iran, support Israel, support democracy, and support liberties? And I think that he really needs to kind of contemplate that, not from just a political point of view, but from a spiritual point of view. His life was saved. It was saved for a reason. So maybe that's the reason.
You know, it's interesting when you talk, sometimes I forget about your expertise and understanding how all that is old is sometimes often new. And so much of what we're facing is lessons we were taught in the Bible. It's a fascinating reality when you look back, and you spent your life studying the Bible, studying different texts. And when you look at it and you just pan back, and you look at it, it's truly amazing what we have from our ancestors. We have so many lessons, so many windows of knowledge, and it seems to be that whether you talk about the Old Testament or the New Testament, or whether you talk about the Torah, what you talk about, its primary goal is peace among man, isn't it?
Absolutely. And respect between each other. And not to see what you can get from it, but to give to it. There's a great teaching. I used to say this to my students. God or inspired men, it must have some wisdom or it wouldn't have lasted this long. And there's an interesting question that all of these sages, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Jacob, Moses, they're asked by God the question, Ayecha, which means where are you, where do you stand? And they respond, each of them respond, Hineni, which means I am present. I contend that every one of us is asked by life and God, where do you stand? And the ability to say, you know what, I stand here. Good is good, evil is evil. I stand here. And I think that's what we need to do.
You know what's fascinating is when we learn about Jesus as Christians, Jesus was called Rabbi. And you look at what the New Testament became, what Christians believe to this day, and how they talk of these lessons, and how they talk of surviving together and loving. Not?
It's absolutely. In fact, many of the miracles Jesus does by either Elijah or Elisha in the Hebrew Scriptures. The Messiah, it's because he's recapitulating them. You don't believe he's the Messiah, then it's to time. Jesus was an enlightened being and a rabbi who exemplified the deepest of Jewish values, which are the of Islamic values. And we need to remember that.
I'm not an expert. Believe me, I'm not. But I have enough knowledge to have a very strong opinion, right? So when Christianity, am I mistaken in not ever interpreting texts as a threat? Here we are.
In fact, we had a great sage named Maimonides who actually said, if you find anything of anger in the text, it's you, it's not the text. Our text, Jewish, the Quran is about creating a worldwide caliphate of Sharia law by violence. They are
This is on a daily occurrence. I'm going to play this, but this is something that I still find repulsive.
House will be left untouched. This is the promise of Allah.
This is a conquering from the dawn of the birth of this cult in 620. It is a threat against humanity on every front. And what and as I talk to you today, Ileana Omar, the Somalian pirate, has been nominated for Somalia because in this text specifically, it talks about
Absolutely. I would start saying amen, but then people would think that you're a Baptist preacher. What it is. It's not a book of spirituality. It's a book of conquest. Not a religion by any other standard. Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Islam is about conquer. And the idea is that you conquer, all of the infidels pay the tax, killed, and then when you've gone through all of that, as parasitic, then they need to conquer the next faith. That is its stated goal. The goal of the Jewish and Christian scriptures.
You know, this is something you learn when you're a grown man. You know, the first time I saw one stranger beat the other guy. And this is what you saw as men got your ass kicked. When you think about what we're facing, you specifically know the text of the ability to lie and cheat and steal. It is impossible to ever have an agreement with anybody who is religious. How can we possibly have a treaty, an agreement, any kind of or anything therein? You can't sign an agreement with somebody who's knowing, willing, and able and taught.
It's worse than that, because during Muhammad's lifetime, the property, the ability to say that, okay, we can. So it doesn't matter what agreement you have. It will be broken, whether it's in a day or in an hour or in 10 week in Iran. This whole last 8 weeks, all it's been is an excuse for Iran to rearm. So, you know, I and realizes this, listens to Rubio instead of anyone else. And
well, we are in a pick. The thing, Rabbi, that people forget, there are hundreds of millions, if not billions of us. If they weren't afraid to be judged by lesser people. This is the other thing we need to shake. Victim that would insist you be complacent in the face of evil. So I think the closet now. If any American or anybody who pretends not to be an asset, they've in essence outed themselves as an American Democrat who right now is willing to elect a Nazi in Maine. I think it's a beautiful time to be elected.
It's the gift that God has given to us, and the idea of having struggles, of having challenges, is not to succeed; it's to be defeated by greater and greater challenges. We always want to be growing. We have great challenges in our lifetime that your father and your uncle and my father, who was a flying tiger, even though they fought World War II, it was a different. They had different.
Yes.
I don't like saying Islam a Nazi only because the Islamic fascists are much worse than the Nazis were.
Well, yes, I know, but the Nazis weren't too good to anybody, and I want to do that because after and my uncle not only kicked their ass, never got a scratch, but I think I've got at least 17 or 18 cousins that are both French and German. So I love the idea to remind them that they always get their ass kicked. And, when we talk about this, and I don't want you to ever take a bad opinion, there are now the church is being led by a Southside Democrat named Bob. So don't take any of the future decisions by the Catholic Church too seriously. Okay, Rabbi?
Hey, look, I taught at Loyola Marymount University. I have a great love-hate relationship. Love of the people, not necessarily the organization. So
I paid a lot of money in tuition, Rabbi. I don't have that much love, but I got lucky. But then again, I remember who Marcinkus was, just a gangster from Cicero who became the Vatican Bank upper echelon. So, Rabbi Michael, Barclay, I always love when you make time for me. You know that, and I love the fact that I finally have had an interview where somebody else is enjoying a cigar as I am. So thank you for always making time. I love you, and I appreciate you. God bless
thank you. God bless
wonderful.
you, and I look forward to seeing you soon, and God bless you, and have a good smoke, and take care.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic, could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did, they gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILSAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply. Trusted by schools for over 20 years.
This is Megan Basham of the Daily Wire, inviting you to join me for the 2026 Issues Etc. Making the Case Conference, Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th at Concordia University, Chicago. I'll be speaking and signing copies of my book, Shepherds for Sale. And joining me at this annual conference for Christian laity are Molly Hemingway of The Federalist, Robert Spencer of Jihad Watch, and Aaron Hawley of Alliance Defending Freedom. Learn more at issuesetc.org, issuesetc.org.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
It's not just that office buildings in the Loop have crashed, selling at 80% losses, 74% losses, or in some cases more than 100% when you factor in the cost of taxes and maintenance and you inflationally adjust the money. The reason this has happened is because these Democrat governments have decided to release predators, to protect predators, and to lie about the crime numbers. You know as well as I do, you watch just as much news. There is no such thing as a good side, north side, west side, south side. Cook County, DuPage County have decided to protect predators, so you must protect your property. That's why I'm going to help you by giving you a simple number, 708-889-5600. If it is real estate, if it's residential, if it's a condo, if it's retail, if it's a commercial warehouse, Goldilocks and the people there have been protecting properties in Illinois for 4 decades. For 40 years, Goldilocks, a family-owned business, has been securing property, so much so that if you have a warehouse, they'll make doors. If you have a retail place, they'll make your door. If you have a residential, they'll make your door and secure your property. An expert comes out to the property and they give you a plan to take an old home and make it a smart home. Smart locks. You can have cameras on every aspect. You'll know if a window is open. You never again have to ask, did I lock the door? And they can do the same thing for your retail property. Now, if you have a warehouse, you can give access and take it away with the system Goldilocks has. Check it out for yourself at Goldilocks Inc. or call 708-889-5600. And if you tell them you heard about it on my show, 3 months monitoring for free. You owe it to the people you love and the property you want to protect to call 708-889-5600 or go to GoldilocksInc.com. Not too big, not too small, just right at GoldilocksInc.com. When we get back, 312-642-5600. We'll take your calls and comments when we get back after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. Expect a thunderstorm overnight with a low of 70. Our top story in the QC Kinetics newsroom, voters in Maine casting their ballots in key Senate primary races. Fox's Molly Line is in Portland, Maine.
On the Democratic side, the controversial leading candidate, a man named Grant Plattner. He is an oysterman. He is a Marine and Army veteran, a self-proclaimed foe of the oligarchy, facing another rough headline, courtesy of his former political director, titled, "I Know Firsthand Why Grant Plattner Shouldn't Be a U.S. Senator."
Polls are scheduled to close at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sales of previously owned homes surged in May. The National Association of Realtors says existing home sales were 3.2% higher than a year ago as mortgage rates pulled back slightly under the Trump administration. Palatine police are investigating after a man who was reported as suspicious was found dead in a body of water near the Twin Lakes Park area Monday around 6 p.m. White Sox host the Braves tonight. Cubs in Colorado. The news, a service of Summit Racing Equipment. Rev up Father's Day gift giving at summitracing.com. You'll find unique gifts, parts, tools, accessories, and more, or give the perfect card, a Summit Racing gift card. Shop summitracing.com. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center and Jill Burchett.
On the roads, it's busy. On the Edens going in with an accident at Niles Center off to the right shoulder, but it's 48 minutes going in. Outbound side's okay. The Kennedy has a crash at Foster inbound in the right lane. Hour and 5 in from O'Hare, the outbound trip, 38 minutes back on out. Eisenhower, 50 minutes, post office to 390. Stevenson at 45 to get out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Dan Ryan, 20 minutes. Heavy conditions remain along DuSable Lakeshore Drive in both directions. And the Tri-State southbound crews working on a crash at 87th in the right lane. Jane Addams is okay, but the Reagan at 355. Scattered tie-ups westbound 80, an accident reported at Larkin. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mostly cloudy, warm and humid with widely scattered thunderstorms. The low temperature will be 70. On Wednesday, expect breezy and humid conditions with intervals of sunshine. A strong thunderstorm is forecasted to develop late in the afternoon, potentially bringing hail and damaging winds. The high temperature will reach 92. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
It only makes sense, Megamind. But see, people don't think of it in the right light. Of course, the government knew the Islamo-Somali pirates were stealing our money. That's why they created it.
This is Tom Hauser working on a story about this new report from the U.S. House Oversight Committee called The Cost of Doing Nothing, how Tim Walz and Keith Ellison fueled Minnesota's fraud explosion.
They just turned a blind eye. They were given orders of what to do. But who actually created the Somalian property boom?
Somalis who have returned from the United States. Dahir hopes to capitalize on the relative stability in Mogadishu and now wants to buy this home. some 7 kilometers outside Mogadishu.
I came here today to see this house and talk to the management on the mode of payment. This is a good initiative and one that Somali returnees can afford. One of the main reasons I chose this area is because it's out of the city and it has a mosque, school and a playing field for the children.
Amid an economic boom in the country, construction is taking place all over Somalia.
Now, it's not because the Somalian business climate is growing. It's because they're stealing our billions and billions and billions. And the result of that is Ileana Omar is now the Somali Person of the Year.
abaalmarintan aan hayo waxaa la yidhaahdaa abaalmarinta Global Somali Person of the Year.
Everybody clap for the bra with the laundry on her head, married to her brother. Carrie in Crown Point.
Shaun, Jesus was not some peace-loving hippie like people want to make him out to be in modern times. He was a tough, honest, legal, ethical man, and the Democrats are working with the absolute enemy, and they're so craven. They're working with the worst male chauvinist pig bastards
Nazi?
that you can ever imagine. And we got to fight this, and we got to have guests like you have on telling everyone in the whole world that we got to fight and stop this.
Well, it's also fantastic to watch the American Democrat embrace a Nazi. I'm telling you, man, it is a gift, Carrie. This low-life, low-rent, trash pig Nazi is out of the closet, and they love it. They're going to elect him tonight.
Now, if this were a Republican candidate who had had a Nazi tattoo, covered it up when he was running for something, and had said all the things that he had said about black people, about women, about rape, etc., do you really think there's a world in which Democrats would be like, let's just let bygones be bygones? That's the past today.
And, Carrie, you know the best part is? If he were a fake Nazi, tried to be linked by media to the Republican Party, he would have had his rent paid by the Southern Poverty Law Center. What do you think of that, Carrie? Yeah, we tie all the stories together because they are. Thank you for the call. They are all together. The Southern Poverty Law Center is today what it was structured to be, a front, a fraud, an entity that has hundreds of millions, if not billions, in not just assets offshore. An entity that is specifically designed to launder and fraud people to steal money. Of course, they were paying for the sheets for the Klan.
The superseding indictment builds on an 11-count charge that the Justice Department filed against the SPLC in April. The new document alleges how $4 million worth of donations to the SPLC were used by informants to in part grow extremist groups, buy materials for cross burnings, and purchase materials to make KKK robes and hoods.
You gotta be frickin' kidding me. The Democrat KKK was so busted ass. Hey, could somebody buy some unleaded so I could light this fake cross on fire? The SPC, the drinks are on the house at the Southern Poverty Law Center of Fraud.
The DOJ says some SPLC workers knew that donor money was being used for these activities. And in one instance, federal prosecutors allege an SPLC employee actually encouraged two people to remain in the KKK, even though they wanted to leave, and offered to pay them a $1,200 monthly salary to stay. The SPLC says they paid informants to get intelligence because of the threats they received. They argue they shared what they learned with authorities.
Threats you received. Why? Did the IRS want to know about the hundreds of millions you have offshore next to Penny Pritzker's money? You rat pig thieves. Tom, Blue Island.
Hey, Shaun Dittos. So, Shaun, these Muslims, they're not of the intellectual heft of Germans. And Nazi Party, go wherever you want with that, but they're goat herders to be slapped around. They're
Tommy, I'm going to explain
as you
something.
said earlier, we got to have the will to do it, but they're not of the. They don't have the balls, man. They're bitches. They're to be slapped around.
Tom, there's a myth that the Germans were smart. Socialism, Marxism, the Nazis were never smart. Their policies don't work any more than Graham Plattner's idea of universal health care works. You see, they didn't have any success outside of a financial crime in a currency change. The Nazis weren't smart. They were evil. They were willing to kill their own and anybody who didn't agree with them. They are exactly as smart and as evil today as they were then, as the Islamo-Nazis tell you they are every time they open their mouth.
Islam will enter every house. No house will be left untouched. This is the promise of Allah.
Right here with your Muhammad. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you prepared for the Illinois state tax? If your estate is worth over $4 million, your heirs could face a tax bill of up to 16% when you pass. Financial advisor Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions can show you ways to potentially reduce or even eliminate that burden. One strategy is to start gifting assets during your lifetime to lower the taxable value of your estate. Another option is setting up irrevocable trusts, which can shield wealth from estate taxes. Charitable donations and life insurance policies can also be smart tools to offset tax liabilities. Call Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team now, 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
AM 560. The Answer.
Always hate the end of the show, I really do. It's fascinating to dive into this fraud, how our politics has been infiltrated by traitors and thieves. We call them Democrats. But it's something to see how easy it is to correct it.
The secretary has honed in on a severe problem for Americans who are seeking help and affordable housing. It's a loophole that gives families with illegal immigrants federal housing that could go to U.S. citizens. It doesn't. Secretary Turner says he will close that loophole and free up HUD funding to help American families in need. And according to HUD data, just to give you an example, nearly 200,000 tenants have not proven they qualify for the government assistance that they are getting. And the point that you'll hear the secretary make is they're not even asked to qualify whether or not they're U.S. citizens in this country. They don't have to show anything. They just show up with their relatives and on the sneak and fraud stay in that housing that American citizens should get.
Socialism is unconstitutional. It is time to challenge every single policy, which is why these Democrat areas, they never talk of secession. Never. They talk of frauding and stealing because their policies have always been fraud and thiefdoms. That's it. They steal the money. There is no such thing as universal health care. There's just stealing people's money to pay for degenerate scum. That's all there is. Sorry, boys and girls, but that's how it is. Life. Nobody gets out alive. And the idea heads and their teeth. Get the frack out of here. And on top of it, illegal aliens rent vouchers without declaring you're a citizen? And you want to know why housing, there's a shortage and things are so expensive? Because it's welfareized. That's how it works. And it's funny how you can get these and fraud right in the name of what exactly? When you look at what tax bills are in Illinois and Crook County. Just take a look at it.
For Tatiana, never seen before, except for her grandmother. She's the first in her generation to become a
y'all for so long.
I got the house, Mommy.
It's our house. I'm about y'all house.
Last year, she bought a place she hoped would give her two sons something she never had, stability.
I was excited about it because I worked hard for it.
Then came a letter that stopped her in her tracks, a notice from the Cook County Assessor's Office. Inside, a new property tax assessment that she says changed everything.
In February, I received March. Your mortgage will be going
$17,000 a year on that fracking house. It isn't worth anything. This bill isn't based on the value of the asset. It's based on the cost of corruption. It's based on illegal aliens getting welfare. It's based on health care. It's based on... And when you talk about the quality of life in these ghettos, get the hell out.
Police are looking for the person who shot and killed a man in the Austin neighborhood and injured 3 other people, including a teenager.
Eric is...
No kidding. No suspect. Here's who the suspect is. A CPS student that can't read.
Shooting tonight on the west side, brought to hospitals, including here at Stroger Hospital.
Who's going to pay for those bills? How many of those victims, let alone the perpetrator, had a Blue Cross Blue Shield card in their pocket? 0. The cost of this corruption is why that tax bill is $17,000 on a house you can barely sell. And if you think you get out of it by moving to the suburbs, is it still Crooked County?
The victim was walking when police say that she was approached by a man riding a bicycle. The man asked her what's her name, then allegedly pushed her to the ground and began to choke her. While she received some injuries, she was fortunately able to get away, flag down a driver, and report the crime. Investigators say she described her attacker as a man about 6 feet tall with a muscular build. He has long braided hair, circular framed glasses, and wearing all black clothing at the time of the attack.
Arlington Heights, that is. Boy, that's the description. What color was he? Because he sounds like Elton John with dreadlocks. Who is that Sally? We'll be back in 21 to drag him out. Fastest show on radio.
Join Illinois Right to Life at the biggest pro-life night of the year. Our annual Leaders for Life Gala will be held on Thursday, June 18th at Drury Lane Theater and Events in Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois, and will feature big names like detransitioner and pro-life advocate Chloe Cole and Congressman Bob Onder, sponsor of the Chloe Cole Act in Congress. Plus, experience our Pro-Life Expo and